video, I looked at how we could type in data into RStudio so that we can then do statistical calculations, as well as how to link different groups of data together using the data frame command. However, most of the time our data sets are going to be huge and we don't want to type in all of that information. So now I want to show how we can read in a data set from a CSV file. The first thing we need to do, if you haven't already, is to create a folder where you'll save all the documents for this particular class. And then after that, we need to set our working directory. This is something we only need to do once. However, if you do move to a new computer or re-download R in RStudio, you'll have to repeat this step. We'll need to click on Tools at the top and then Global Options. We need General here on the left. In this default working directory, we're going to click Browse. And I put my folder on the desktop, so I'll select the desktop. Open the folder, and then click Open. As long as you're inside the folder, you don't need to select anything in that folder. We'll just click Open and Apply. Okay. At this point, you will need to restart RStudio. Depending on your version, it may go ahead and prompt you to restart already, but do make sure that you restart RStudio. Now that we've restarted RStudio, and I have my file in that particular folder, I need to tell R and RStudio to access the appropriate file. We may have several of them that we need to access, so we're going to tell R to access it. And our big command is read.csv. This tells me that I need to read a CSV file, which is what we have it. We do need to give our dataset a name because we need to access it later. And R will only store things if we give them a name. I'm going to call this one bears because my dataset has information all about a group of bears. Inside the read.csv command, we're going to do some quotations. And we're going to type the file name. My file name is bearsdata.csv. If I move over to my folder, you can see this bears data right here, and that is my actual file. So now I can click Run, and I can see it pop up that I have my bears data set. It has 50 observations of 8 variables. There are a couple things that we can do here. We can type head bears. If I run this command, it kind of shows me the first few rows of the data set. It makes sure everything's good and read in. It also kind of gives us those basic show of what this information looks like. We can also do names bears, and this just shows me my variable names. I have an ID name, sex, age, the head length, the head width, the neck girth, the chest girth, and the weight. To do a single variable, so let's say I'm only interested in the age of these bears, I'm going to type in my dataset name, which I called it bears, a $, and I have this list pop up, and this tells me all of the variables. I'm interested in age right now. So I'll select age. We could have also typed it. Run that, and I can see the list of ages. I can also create tables using the command table. Inside of it, I need to let it know which data set I'm looking at because a lot of times we have multiple data sets we need to consider. After I type in the data set name, I'll do my $, and this time I'm going to look at the variable sex. If I run that, I can see that I have 15 females and 35 males in my data set down here at the bottom. It's really important to note that this table command is only going to be used for categorical variables. It does not work for numerical variables. So in this case, sex was my only categorical variable, so it's the one that made the most sense for the table. We can also do relative frequency. So we have this command called length. I'm going to give that name n, and it just tells you how many variables there are. So bears, $sex. If I run this at the top, I can see 50 is my length. So now if I try to do my table again, and this time I'm going to do my bears, $sex, and then I'm going to divide by n. And if I click run on that, try that again. If I click run on that, I can see it as a proportion. 30% are females and 70% are males. And that is given to me in a decimal, but I can easily convert it to a percent as well.